Start the show. Start the show, Ryan.
All
Come
right,
on. Come on.
interlude. So,
We have things.
as always, like a great podcast host, I always re-listen to David and I to make sure not only that we do lovely, lovely coverage, David, and you are handsome, but I try to make sure I don't sound like such an asshole. And I listen to myself a little bit, and I know Buff Mike's a friend of mine, so he's going to be more honest with me than the average troll on the internet, surely, David. But I'm not mad. Okay, like the thing is I don't want it like my passion to get confused with being angry. I don't want to cause violence, and I don't want to be angry. I'm not prefacing anything, David. Of course, we believe in the freedom of speech here. We should be able to just say whatever and not have to have caveats. All the fuck. Could you imagine if we spoke in asterisks? She, her. Anyways, I guess like I'm not expecting somebody to wear the same chains of struggling that other people should. You know what I mean? Like everybody's got their own fucking problems, and Dave and I do it to ourselves. And I probably could word things nicer. But the thing I noticed with Ben Shapiro's little Jew prick ass this week, Dave, that I pointed out to you, is it's tending to me that there's less and less people that are actually staying within the normal confines of what it means to be a public speaker. Because I think generally most people have just had a fucking enough. Okay, like the FCC, the CDC, the XYZ, they can't shut us all down. That was always the mentality. They tried, they failed. We're now fighting back. You can say whatever you want about X. You can say whatever you want about, it being a private company. But here's the thing. We're at like this crucial point now. I made the Paul Revere thing like half joking and half lightly, but I actually thought about it. That's literally what this is. I mean, every person that goes on the internet that says fuck the government is basically signing the digital declaration of independence, you know? And it's not like you're supposed to do this or it has to be your civic duty or all these things. This is, look, once again, I know this is a willing thing. The thing that I'm tired of, though, David, maybe we can roll the clip a little later, is when you can interfere in foreign elections like YouTube said that I did, it's not a joke. Like, I can't sue them for that. I don't know if you guys understand that. Like, how many lawyers does YouTube have, David? How many Nobel Peace Prize winning lawyers does YouTube have?
More than we have.
Okay, I can't sue them. I can't but they broke the fucking civil liberties that people were enslaved and died for. It's not hyperbole. That's actually what happened to those people. Our lives are fortunate and sacred honor. David, how many founding fathers actually were rich like George Washington? Surely all of them, right? They all owned the slaves, David. Out of all the people that signed the documents behind David's head, there was very few, you could say the one percenters, David, that actually was able to live and rejoice and have the fruits of their labor of the great thing that they bestowed upon the greatest thing that that happened in the history of humanity. And I'm supposed to just go lightly, David, that like the idea that I can't say what I have to say. Now, once again, David, I told you guys, they gave me the infinite fucking get out of jail free card. You told me that Dave and I interfered in a foreign election with our coverage on our own news program that was well established before that and well established after this YouTube incident that I'm talking about. You said I interfered in a foreign election. Dave interfered in a foreign election. That means that we do have credibility or news to some regard. Whatever you want to make fun of me on the other side of the internet and tell me to relax. I'm very fortunate that, David, that we are both very fortunate that we don't have our livelihoods tied into this like a Steven Crowder, David. That if they do silence a guy like Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson or all these people that are on the internet, Joe Rogan, and they don't have multiple facets of income, they don't get to speak. That's the thing you don't realize is the difference between me. There is no middle ground between me, Dave, and Joe Rogan, because the people that would be able to speak out on the very thing they're silencing us on make money on it. That's why they're not going to say fuck YouTube. Now, would I love to be a content creator, David? I don't know, but that's not what this is about. This is the fact that the people that even gave us like the ability to live the life we live through history, they would have fought on the internet too. And I'm actually really tired of people thinking that it's just like a modesty and a commodity and it's just this private thing that we all name another thing that everybody in the history of all of whoever have been able to access something at this level ever. I don't think there's one thing that exists other than like fire and running water and shelter. Seriously, name another thing. More people probably have smartphones and Xboxes. Okay, so like out of technology, the most owned thing is probably a TV or a smartphone. Poor people in America have at least one smartphone and another smart accessory. That's a statistic by the government. Okay, like at what name? I'm serious. Name another thing. It doesn't exist, and I know it doesn't exist. And I'm not gonna wait for the fucking facts, Ben Shapiro. I shouldn't have to. How can you wait on the facts on something that's never been done before? That's where conservatism fails. That's why I'm an open, creative, liberal person, right, David? The liberal arts. That's what they're supposed to be. Not cut the dicks off your kids, okay? But I can say that on YouTube, but I can't say whatever that got us interfered, David. Now, once again, I can do the whole program. Nice, David. I can talk to you in this neuro-linguistic programming. But a good fuck and a good piss you and fuck YouTube and fuck the Chiefs on top of it. Fuck all these people. Seriously. Why should I play nice? Why should we play nice? You silence me when I don't play nice, when I do play nice, it's the wrong thing. The community guidelines, David. Name another thing like the internet that exists that all of humans have partaked in. It's like, I'm serious, it's running water and fire. I don't have to jump through hoops, David, to buy fire. I'm not saying that's a right and we need to have this government intervention either. I don't want to get it twisted, Dave. These are all separate arguments. I understand this. I'm speaking philosophical here. But the idea that we're going to like stumble our way into freedom on the internet you're wrong. I don't need to wait for the facts. I don't need to wait for a lawyer. I have the right to speak on the internet and say fuck and shit and piss, as well as anything else I say, even if it interferes in 4 elections. I don't care. I don't care if it interferes in this election. The idea, David, with freedom of speech is that information is open and vast enough that we will all consume the right information openly, David, as long as there is such a thing as freedom and openness, David. It would disperse through our community and build part of our culture up. That's why history, religion, politics, people, a little bit of history is your superpower. If you write on paper, you're in one of the top 1% of people that ever live. You literally be a historian if everything goes to shit and they dig up your diary. You're a historian now. It's not a joke. And I don't even need the validation of it. I'm just trying to tell you people on the other end of the internet that criticize me for the very thing that you have the capability to do. Make your own fucking YouTube channel and prove me wrong. Make a YouTube channel and rip apart my YouTube channel. I don't care. The point is like you're supposed to like engage in this. It's weird, Dave. I'm sure it's happened to you. I didn't get any slack about my opinion until I started speaking it. And it goes without saying. But how many people are going to keep speaking their opinion when you get slack and flack and friction? And like, how many people are going to keep walking up a hill when you're like, I just think this is what I'm going to do. You don't have to do anything. I'm not trying to change your life. This is how I feel. But people have told me many times, you act like the whole world should be like that. Well, to me, yeah. Like, I'm not trying to change the whole world. I'm trying to change my area of the world. Why would I not? Right, David? Everything you do matters, right? You're 6 people away from all people on earth, Jordan Peterson. Don't tell me that my shit don't matter just because you want to sit there. It's not, I don't even care about the criticism. I shouldn't yell. But this is what I'm trying to say. Like Martin Luther King, he didn't yell and he still got assassinated. Malcolm X told you to burn down the white man and buy guns and kill him. And the Black Panthers, they still killed him. So where between Stephen Hawking and Donald Trump should I have on my pissed off meter when it comes to civil liberties being violated on the internet? Because we haven't hammered them out and laid them out in a constitution. You think we could agree on an amendment for what freedom of the speech would even be allowed on the internet? We can't even decide what sex and gender is. I'm supposed to trust you with my freedom of speech. Well, apparently I trust YouTube enough. They don't trust me because they think I can interfere in foreign elections. We're just two men with an opinion, apparently, that doesn't matter. Fuck these people. That's the thing is I know every single Slack that I get, I know that it works. It's not even like I'm doing it out of proxy to get it back, Dave. It's not like I enjoy it, right? Because it's like makes you stronger. It's like fucking like a phoenix, right? It's just like you put on more body armor and fight more wars. We like the whole point of this show like really started to say like, hey, you know, I believe in this. Go watch the Ryan show. It's the first episode on why I started getting politically involved and all this stuff. I'll get to it later, but I know it's not name dropping, but I that know people that got elected by Trump as a position. What the fuck did you do? I didn't do shit compared to what she did. Nancy, friend of the show, great lady. I talk about her all the time. She's amazing, a far better person than I'll ever be. I'm not trying to steal her thunder. I'm trying to help her thunder. I'm trying to give her an echo. What'd you guys do? Don't be mad, Ryan. I went to rallies in the freezing fucking cold because, like, everything that I was taught and believed, you fucking violated and lied to everybody. And then I watched you lock the world down for something that didn't even work. I can't wait for the COVID trials, and I better not hear from one of you people. I better hear, I'm sorry, every fucking day. You better look at all your conspiracy friends. And I mean that. I'll wear shirts. I'll have campaigns with shirts. Not to rub it in your face. But how long do I got to get beat over the head? I'm not waiting for the facts. Ben Shapiro's saying fuck now. What is that telling you? He's irrelevant. They're irrelevant unless you're pissed off because people have had enough. I've had enough. Sorry, David. I didn't mean to take 12 out of your life. But like, I could do the show calm. Dave's the calm one. That's actually why we work. Because he's the one that like can steer the ship. I will punch forever against these people. They want you to eat bugs. What don't you understand? They want you to eat fucking bugs. You're a kid to eat bugs. Autism's in the chemicals in the air. The pollution in the air. They said has what was it, Dave? 6,000% increase in autism rates. Am I mad enough yet? But chemtrails aren't fucking real. Oh, maybe those aren't the autistic chemtrails, David. They're just the ADHD ones. But I thought they can't give it through you through external means, David. It's in your genetics. But Dave, you're born that way. Well, epigenetics, they can flick. But I'm not a scientist. I got to think about Sam Harris, too. I'm sorry. I got a lot to say this week. I relished in the fact that I listen to myself get pissed off because, quite frankly, I don't think enough people are mad. You let the dollar get like triple devalued. And grandparents die. You allowed that. You people allowed that. That voted for these people that allowed that. I told a family member it wasn't nothing to them. I don't blame them. But I was one of the few people I ever know that spoke out against COVID. I was willing to change jobs. I did change jobs. I've been shamed in public for the mask thing. Oh, just put the mask on. Be an adult. Just put the Jews in the oven, David. Oh, hey, you're going overboard here. Just put an experimental vaccine in your arm. But I'm the conspiracy theorist. They violated the fucking Nuremberg violation. Do you know where Nuremberg came from? I'm not a historian. Why don't you go look into it, Buff Mike? Get back to me and tell me how mad you should fucking be. My grandparents, our grandparents watched them murder hundreds of thousands of people. And you're going to lecture me because I'm upset about it? I'm not okay with that. And you guys fucking lost the election because you run shitty beliefs and you're bankrupt morally. And you have to brainwash people to believe you. You can't even sell them. Me right now, this is a better political speech than you'll ever hear out of a Democrat forever. I didn't even write any of this down. They have nothing to sell you except for you to sell out your countrymen and your country and shame those that tell you no. They tell you to fire me. They ostracize you and your family. You fight with your siblings or parents. because you have different beliefs. Oh, all the people I know in my family saying this, they all believe the same thing I do. I don't blame you guys, but talk to somebody that doesn't agree with you, and then tell me why the whole country's fucking red. Land doesn't partake in people. Well, he won the popular vote too. He won everything, actually, David, if I'm not mistaken. And by he, I mean the people that we elected. Oh, it's weird. Oh, the Republicans. Oh, you mean RFK and Tulsi Gabbard, those super right wingers, David, because they've redefined the language for you. Because you're not even smart enough to stand up to words because you can't read. But I'm not mad enough. I got people that can't read and can't write and don't know history are telling me to not be mad. But I can read. Nuremberg's in fucking rocks, just like those fucking conspiracy rocks, David. I forget what they were called. They were just in the middle of nowhere. I talked about those for 10 fucking years and they magically blow up during COVID. Are you serious? Do you know, whatever. I'm so happy that I got to catch Alex before he got to where he is. Because he seems more like a prophet than he does just a fucking reel for you to laugh at. There's InfoWars news too, David. They're selling InfoWars. The Onion's buying it. Is it? Oh, really? The judge did something he couldn't do. Just like saying Mar-a-Lago's worth $1. What will they do to your Chevy Cruze in the parking lot? I wonder what that thing's worth. I wonder what your $300,000 mortgage is going to go for. Just say the right thing on the internet and it will all go away. And tell me it's not going to happen. Because it's already happened to Dave and I. Calm down, Ryan. I can do it nice and calm. I just sound like a psychopath then. Because I'll rip the buildings. I'll fucking rip the words Google right off the building. But I need people to do that. I need you, like you guys literally have to say enough's enough. I don't know what to do. We did the right thing. You can't fight me and hate me. We elected all the right people. But how long have we been fighting, David, for a red wave like this, for a political revolution that will never happen again? It's the only time Republicans get a blank slate, man. It's the only time Democrats even get a blank slate. Not in our lifetime, not like this, not after a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, David, on the brink of World War III, after a 50-year Cold War. It was only 20, David. Look up. Never mind. It's a conspiracy, even though it's a military doctrine, David. Chemtrails aren't real. They just were going to use it as a weather weapon, David, in the Vietnam War. Military paperwork. I'm sure they just abandoned the project, David. I can do it calmly. I just choose not to. Because you know what? We've had enough. I watch them break the law, and I watch them lie to you, and I watch them brainwash you, and I will not take it anymore. So, go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
Thanks for that, Ryan.
Well, I got, I got contacted by the different Mike, the one I gave the books to. And dude, he made me cry. He's like, dude, I just appreciate what you and Dave do. Because you speak for so many people you don't even know. He's like, so many people just feel like they don't even matter and they don't have a voice. It's crazy. I don't even do it for them. I do it for my country and my countrymen. I do it for the documents behind David because I was told those were the greatest things that ever existed, and they are. If you actually look into it, it's unfucking believable. And I'm not just selling pipe dreams, kids. But it made me cry. Like, I didn't take it lightly. Like, one day this could get a lot worse. That was like the whole premise of this election, David. That's why I cried election night, because I generally thought that if it didn't go this way, it would be really bad the other way, particularly on the internet. It'd be a thing we never saw. But imagine Hitler with a fucking iPhone ability, with the ability to track and trace all the people and have your medical DNA built right into the fucking apparatus of the phone. It can track your steps. It knows your blood pressure. It knows what you had for breakfast. That's not approved by the party, David. Make sure you drink your rations at Crickets today. That's not approved by the party. The telescreen's the thing in your pocket. Don't read 1984, though. That book's racist. I'm not even that smart, people. The thing is I'm realizing Sam Harris, you prick bastard, He came out and had all this thing, oh, blah, 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 blah. He's got a political opinion now because he's a scientist. He's telling people not to have political opinions, not have the presidential candidate on political and talk politics on comedian podcasts. These intellectuals, these people are so smart. They don't fucking realize that the average people don't care about your PhDs and your degrees and your ability to calculate physics if I can't buy bread. Isn't that gnarly? And you know, it's a real shame because those intellectuals, David, those same people, they get paid enough that they can afford the bread no matter what the price is. And they blame us. Well, it's your fault. You make bad decisions, which could be true. But what decisions am I making when I'm being brainwashed by the very scientists to believe the things I'm believing? I could go forever. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm not going quietly. I can do it. I shouldn't yell. You're right, Mike. I'm sorry. It's bad for listening. It's bad to hear. It's bad. I get it. But enough's enough, man.
All right. Here's what we got today. I know Ryan started off in a, I don't know, what would you classify that as, Ryan? I wouldn't say somber. That's not somber. It was something he had to get off his chest. Listen, we all have to get things off our chest. And that's partially why we do this show. But listen, for many reasons, Andrew Tate has been running around telling everyone to get rich for 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know, forever. How fucking long. And this is part of the reason why things like this, people are afraid to do, like people who agree with us and who, you know, have very similar opinions are afraid to go on and start this kind of show. It's not difficult. You can buy a webcam, you can buy a microphone. Like it's not expensive to start. It's not expensive to do. But people are afraid to do it because they, oh, what if somebody sees? Oh,
and they would be qualified people, David. They would be the business owners. They would be the doctors. They would be the people that you as the average audience listener, be like, you know, I haven't heard from enough doctors. I haven't heard from enough Nobel Peace Prize winning. The Nobel Peace Prize winning scientists are not going to go against the thing that gave them the fucking Nobel Peace Prize. It's just not going to happen. It's like you sawing the tree branch off that you're sitting on. Nobody in between Dave and Joe Rogan and I are going to do what we're doing. Nobody. I was not kidding when Trump will have to get interviewed on a third-party podcast one day. That will happen if we kept going down the road. Worry about Elon, though. Sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's...
Well, with all of that said, listen, we have a lot to get to here. It was just an incredible week of so many things to talk about. So we got, Ryan, I don't know if you heard about the 4B movement. We're going to talk about that. Women have figured out how to avoid abortions, apparently. Leftists have become unbearable, which is why I love this Trump victory so much. Vaccine cows, Ryan. We have to talk about the vaccine cows. Biden has started. What we and our viewers know on this program that World War III already exists, but Biden has taken a step towards making World War III official. The New York Times, holy shit, we're gonna have to talk about their take on RFK and Fruit Loops.
That was crazy, really crazy.
It's incredible.
These are the people you gotta trust, though.
I just want to verify with everyone an opinion that I've had for a while that, well, everyone wants to wait for the facts. Well, the facts are out. Athletes are pro-Trump. Squirrels. We got to talk about squirrels, of course. Doge is it's amazing. We have clips for days. There's AOC. Jesus Christ, we got to get to it, Ryan.
The AOC thing's great, by the way.
It's incredible. But first, you had mentioned, and I feel like what a better time to play this than now, Ryan. We interfered, if you recall, in New Zealand's election, Ryan.
I'm going to have to do it again, Dave. We will be back, New Zealand. I cannot wait to interfere in your election.
Well, now is a better time than ever. Has everyone seen this? Ryan, can you see this right now?
Negative. I just see your handsome face, Dave.
Son of a bee. Listen, Ryan.
Are you blaming Rumble or the studio, or are you not stealing enough of my
fucking money? It could be Rumble. It could be the fact
buy the coffee. Ryan, there we go. I can see. I can see this. I can see an angry woman ripping up the prenup.
Rumble's fault. I put the button way at the top. Listen, here
Rumble's
is
fault.
the
Oh,
current
just code.
state.
Learn to code, Dave. Get over it.
This is the current state of New Zealand. We need to interfere again and quickly. Okay, honestly, quite frankly, that's enough for that. That's enough of that.
Dave, you know what that is?
I thought they were all white, honestly, but I was told they were not white.
I don't know what the dance is called, but it's an ancient warrior dance of not ancient, but native, yeah, something. But they scream, and that was their warrior chant. It's probably what they were screaming before the Europeans shot them. So
Well, they should stop yelling. It was bad for the show.
all the same, they did hunt fucking human hunting pterodactyls to extinction. So badass. All the same. You know, this reminds me when I seen that video, David. It was after, like I seen the Tates comment about it and how it's dumb, anyways, and you know how the Tates are trolling. And then I seen the video, but then I was reminded instantly about, you know, when once again not to go back to the beginnings of this country, David, because you know I'm no historian, but they were always said that at the beginning of the country that they debated for a very long time and got all the emotion out of the issues, right? So when they were to come and sit down and write laws about the very thing they were so emotional about for 2 weeks, literally, it just reminded me of like, I understand why you shouldn't protest. Like this isn't my country. You know what I mean? Now, granted, I applauded people on January 6th, but it was like mostly because I think the government needed to be overthrown because I didn't think we could vote our way out of it, which we did, which was amazing. So, but I guess more than anything, the Pussy Hat thing popped up shortly after that. The Palestinian riots were going on inside of the Capitol building and such, and I guess more than anything, I guess like things like this are super emotional filled, right? And like those conversations should not be held in the places that the laws are being made. Now, I don't know what to do, David, because I do believe in the right to protest and assemble and redress my grievance. What I'm saying is like I'm not saying they shouldn't do that or have the right to do that, but I think if you're trying to change something, you look like an idiot. And like if anything, it's not going to work. Because now I have to interfere in your election and change this shit because this is dumb. Like you can't be chanting and running around and then think you're going to sit down after this and write some laws to change history because your ancestral dance. Yo, your ancestral dance didn't win. Like I don't want to be like that, but like the only reason you have fucking electricity or the only reason you have the printing press to rip the paper is because of a white European. I'm not sorry about that. I'm not saying it was right, but let's fucking be real here. And you know what? It's nothing to shame to these people. Once again, David, they've been brainwashed by an entire apparatus to think that this is completely fine to do because they feel a certain way. You know, I've had problems with this in my personal life that people feel a certain way. They think they can act however they want. Now, granted, I haven't been the best either. But when it comes to politics and trying to change people's opinion and having a conversation, and I guess it goes back to me yelling. I get that you're done, but I'm not going to go to Congress and scream at everybody and think that's the way to solve it. But it's silly. Fuck New Zealand and fuck their election. Now I got to fuck with it. Dave, we will destroy this country from the inside. Clearly. We have the poll. Yeah, we have the poll. The United Kingdom is going to expedite me to the country, so I don't even have to pay for an airplane there, David. We'll break out of jail.
Well, we gotta talk about the United Kingdom as well, Ryan. We have to talk about that this week. We still haven't even gotten into the show, Ryan. Old Squaw says I turned 1K into 10K on Doge. Yes, listen, the original Doge cryptocurrency was awesome. It was a good time to be a part of.
It really was.
Me and a couple people got in at under a penny, and
it was a really good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. I was smart enough to sell. I had some stubborn friends waiting for it to hit $1. I did not wait. I think it was the night Elon went on SNL. It was one of those nights. It was when it peaked, and I said, "Fuck this! This is Doge to the moon for sure." And I banked out, and I got back in a little bit later, and it's been doing okay. But made my money and got out. That's what you got to do sometimes on these shady little altcoins. But no, Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, is where we're headed. Ryan, the 4B movement. Are you familiar with the 4B movement?
It's just women not putting out for their husbands.
Well, not just that. So the 4B movement. Listen, Trump
Imagine
won,
if I
right?
stopped paying child support, David.
Trump won. And obviously, the biggest concern with Trump winning is that women cannot assassinate their children, which I get it. Oh, you're concerned about this. I understand. So women have now decided that if I can't have abortions, I won't have sex. So round of applause to leftist women who have realized how to avoid getting abortions. As listen, there's all types of birth control methods out there, okay? And I want everybody to have access to all of them. Abortion is not a birth control method, just so we're clear. Abortion is, oops, I didn't want this. I killed the baby. I get it. That's fine. Don't call it healthcare. 4B movement, yeah, a bunch of.
Yeah, don't say free Britney either. I'm sick of hearing that.
I don't think the 4B movement has anything to do with Britney.
Dave, it's got B in the B Britney. She's clearly a B in there. A 5.
Of course,
the 5
ultimate
Bs.
irony, Brian, in this is that everybody I've seen posting about the 4B movement are just
Hideous.
they have. You
Yeah, it's
don't have
weird.
to worry.
It's
You
weird.
don't have to worry. We're not interested.
Well, David, what about the women that are miscarrying and they're not going to be able to get critical life-saving care?
Well, I guess we'll have to wait for the facts. Sorry, Ryan. I'm gonna
You know what,
bring
Dave?
up.
I never thought about that. Like, you know, that girl that's probably saying that. Is it
Sorry,
really? Is it
we're
really?
absolutely got to wait for the facts here.
We're gonna have a medical board review this.
Ryan, are you ready for? I don't know.
I was not ready for that Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, David. So I went to bed.
Here's the thing. And
Don't beat up
Netflix
60-year-olds.
Netflix totally dropped the ball, but I warned everyone I knew because I also don't like Jake Paul, and I get it, and I don't mind him quite as much as Logan Paul. Logan Paul sucks. Jake Paul's all right, but Jake Paul. Listen, here's the thing about Jake Paul that people refuse to admit. Jake Paul is to some degree a legitimate fighter. Well, he's just a YouTuber. No, he's not just a YouTuber. He was a YouTuber who decided to train to box for 6 years. The guy knows how to fight. Okay,
And he beat
We
Mike
need-
Tyson.
we need to stop pretending that he's just a YouTuber who doesn't know how to fight. You're totally discrediting him, and then you're really kind of undermining his opponents. But secondly to that, listen, obviously Tyson in his prime would have fucking annihilated Jake Paul. Let's get that out of the way. Tyson is 60 years old. I said the whole time, if Tyson doesn't knock out Jake Paul in the first like 2 rounds, it's not going to go well for Tyson. He's not going to be able to last 8, 9, 10 rounds or whatever they are nowadays against a young, prime-aged athlete. It's just not going to happen. So Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, I'm not surprised.
Did you bet?
No,
No bet.
I didn't care enough. And some people are saying that Mike Tyson kind of phoned it in. I don't know. Maybe there's some degree that it could have been kind of like friendly sparring to some degree. Like I don't think any of them were really going for blood. So
Well,
whatever.
David, clearly Mike Tyson was paid by the Kamala Harris campaign, like Eminem and Beyonce and Cardi B and Whoopi Goldberg. And isn't that called campaign finance violation, David? The very thing that they
No.
got Donald Trump
No.
for when he wrote the Stormy
They
Daniels
just had these people doing
hush
some
money scandal check, David. Wasn't that the saying that we heard from the other side of the
serious question. Because there's a report that Harris paid Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and all these people to make appearances. Could you imagine the media if Trump paid people to twerk at his shows?
Well, he definitely paid Hulk Hogan to rip his shirt off, David. Clearly, let's see the
Legend.
receipt, David.
Legend.
So great.
I saw someone post on Facebook that they were going to stockpile on Plan B. Yeah, the some of these people are getting so brainwashed.
Well, David, clearly price gouging will stop that, David. Stop.
It's
it.
already like fucking $50-$60. Like, where are these people getting their money from?
Food stamps.
Listen,
Do food stamps
Ryan,
cover Plan
I-
B, David?
I need it's aptly
Plan B
named.
is sold
I'll give
here.
him
We
credit.
accept the EBT.
I'll give him credit. It's aptly named. Ryan,
It's
I want to talk about everyone's favorite farmer Bill Gates. We need to watch this. This is
I
gonna blow
hate
your
this
mind.
guy. I hate this guy. This guy told me money doesn't matter. Is
Everyone's
this
favorite everyone's favorite farmer, Ryan.
Yeah, so there's basically two ways to help with cows. Cows are about 5% of global emissions, which is pretty unbelievable.
Wild.
And
Whoa.
if your
Hold
goal
on,
is to
Rogan.
get to zero, you don't get to skip the cows or the steel or the cement or any of those big areas.
Uh-huh.
So there's a whole class of solutions of making meat without cows.
how do they do
Today,
that?
it doesn't taste as good and it costs too much. It's going
Uh-huh.
through a little bit of a lull, but those companies, Impossible Beyond, Memphis, and others are pursuing that. In terms of the cows, we pursued many solutions. So one is to vaccinate the cows in a way that their gut bacteria that emit the methane, which is also called natural gas or CH4, which is the second most important greenhouse gas. You can vaccinate them, and that species of bacteria isn't there. Their stomachs are very special because they can eat grass. It's a 3-stage fermentation process, basically. There's another way you can change what they eat, and you could either put that in their water or their feed. There is a drug to change the microbiome, not a vaccine, but a drug. That looks very promising. And then there's a solution where you stick a sort of a metal thing into the skin of the cow, and it actually burns the methane. And all of these look to be quite cheap and implementable even in Africa. And so this is one where I wasn't hopeful when I got started a decade ago. And now it's just a question which solution for which country ends up being the best.
Who voted him as the cow czar of the world, David? Clearly.
Okay. Holy fuck. Couple things. One, buy your own cows. Okay. You have to buy your own cows. I see no way out of this.
I know a
else
person.
are you
If you guys
gonna
want
do?
to
These
know,
people
I
are
know a
gonna-
person in Genesee County, just so you guys know.
These people are running around and they are going to be vaccinating their gut to not excrete natural gas. Whatever. No concerns about what that's going to cause. They probably truthfully don't know what that's going to do, but they don't
David?
care even if they did know.
What
Go
type
buy
of
your own
vaccine? What type of vaccine do you think that anti-farting vaccine is? What kind of technology and delivery method do you think that is?
Who would know? I'm sure they use a metal thing to stick in the skin.
Do you think it's an mRNA vaccine, David?
mRNA, maybe.
Maybe that type of technology is implemented to a targeted section. I'm supposed to sit here, okay? I know I started the show that I was going to get upset, so I'm going to try to remember that. Okay. But I just listened to Bill Gates said that they can stick a needle full of chemicals in a cow and prevent it from farting. But I'm not supposed to believe that the chemicals that they can stick in your body doesn't cause autism or anything else. I'm not saying they do. I'm not saying all of them do. I'm not saying any of them do. I'm just saying the idea that we as humans cannot do that, you're wrong. You're fucking wrong. They can get cows to not fart. Kind of sounds like those, what was it, the mice they got on heroin and cocaine, David, to see if they would fight if they jacked them up with TRT. $60 billion or something of government money.
Just mention a bunch of little RFK mice floating around.
Just fucking Jack Mighty Mouse is just
fucking ripped.
swinging. They talk like Trump. Woo. No, seriously though, that guy just admitted to you that they can chemically alter an animal. What are we, David? Aren't we mammals? Sounds like an animal to me, David. Probably very alterable, David, with some extra over-the-counter chemicals that come in a Pfizer capsule or a little vaccine.
Hold on, because even better, what else did he say? Well, we can just put it in their food or their water.
Now, mind you, David, Bill Gates is now the largest farmer in the world, but he is not an expert, David. We're always told to trust the science and
Well, he
trust the
doesn't even
expert.
wear
Well,
overalls.
David, clearly I have no credibility on the internet because I cannot talk to experts, even though I can listen to all the experts on the thing, just like Bill Gates can, but he has credibility and we don't. Even though he actually interferes in foreign elections and domestic ones, and we don't. He's on the internet.
Ryan, have we not talked to experts on the show? We talked to somebody who was in the Bush cabinet who's being seriously considered for the Trump cabinet. He was on the show. We had a guy running for state senate on the show. Like we have some form of expertise on the show for sure.
Nancy, my friend Nancy, Elise Stenfick, Stefanik, is being appointed. I could pull up the picture of the actual administration. I didn't have room in my paper to write down, but she got appointed by Trump. She's a local person, like a person I know locally knows her. Like these people are touchable. You know, the conversations I have, I tell you people that talk history, religion, and politics, the reason I've met these people is because I live on that principle. And people have told me my whole life to not talk about it. And it's open. I've had such interesting conversations. Dave's been part of them. Dave's been there. Dave does it too. There's power in that stuff. But yeah, Bill Gates just admitted that he can alter all your shit in his body. He's not an expert. And look, I'm not saying that he shouldn't be able to talk about this, because honestly, I wish I could trust Bill Gates, but he's a eugenist. And people who don't know who eugenists are, go look at that up, because Bill Gates' dad, apparently in conspiracy realm, David, if you don't know this, worked for MIT, and he actually helped build the database that the Jews at the concentration camp, the original basics of that, the basic structure of it rather, was basically what they used to implement in early software programming to be able to recall things. And it basically led to the social security number as well. The structure and the form and the trackability of the system came from Nazi Germany and Bill Gates' dad.
Trump's a Nazi though, right?
George Bush's great grandfather was a Nazi lawyer and helped Hitler get all of his gold out of Germany and get it to Switzerland.
Ryan, one last thing too about the cows, real quick before we go. And by the way,
I'm sick of the attack on cows, David.
Please buy your own cows. Get cows. Get your own animals. Get your own supply of everything, because they're
just don't get squirrels, David. Don't get
squirrels. Get squirrels. Get cows. You need all
chickens,
bees,
goats.
Just get them all.
Bees, squirrels.
Did Bill Gates say he wanted to stick a metal thing inside of the cow that burns up all the gas?
Yeah,
isn't that
that's right?
Isn't that like how modern diesels are designed? Like DEF fluid, they're just gonna shove it in there so it burns and then excretes cleanly. That's literally how they design diesels. They're gonna do it to your cows.
Yeah, they're gonna have a pilot light that they blow up the cow's asshole to internally burn it, and then little
Peterbilt cows.
They're gonna fist the cow's ass, David, and then just have it push out air.
Ryan, we need to talk about serious things like Fruit Loops.
It's the greatest podcast ever.
I want to
Speaking of Fruit Loops,
I want to read from New York Times. This is because
I love this.
The way you word things means a lot. And this is how the New York Times chose to word this. Mr. Kennedy has singled out Fruit Loops as an example of a product with too many artificial ingredients, questioning why the Canadian version has fewer than the US version. But he was wrong, okay? Keep in mind. This is an opinion of the New York Times. RFK was wrong. The ingredient list is roughly the same, although Canada's has natural colorings made from blueberries and carrots, while the US product contains red dye 40, yellow 5, and blue 1, as well as butylated hydroxyltoluene, BHT, a lab-made chemical that is used, quote, for freshness, according to the ingredients list. So
we don't.
So the New York Times says no, RFK Jr. is wrong about Fruit Loops because the amount of ingredients is the same, and then goes on to explain why RFK Jr. is exactly right about our food being poisoned. It's not the quantity, New York Times. You're missing the point.
David,
The
it's not
ingredient list
poison,
being
David. It's not
39 and
poison.
39 isn't the point. The point is ours is chemicals, theirs is fruits and vegetables.
What do you mean, David? Like the French fries used to be made in beef
Right.
tallow, David, instead of
Canada
seed oils.
spends so much less money on healthcare than the United States. How could this be? I don't
Well-
know. This?
Well, it's interesting you say that, David, too, because I was actually going to reference that as a point of contention that it's funny to hear the New York Times have an opinion based on Canadian food saying it's as good as Americans' food when all I've heard for 10 years about Canada and other socialist countries is that they have better healthcare than us. You know, like Canada's got this figured out. Well, obviously, Canada apparently has Fruit Loops figured out and we don't. So let's look at, hey, whoa, easy there. What are you upset about? It's just red number 40. Well, where's red number 40? I would love to Google that actually. Like, where does
We did that on the show. Well, was it Red 40? It was something else that was the equivalent of Red 40, I think.
yeah, okay.
And it turns out when you Google the chemical, it's known to cause cancer. But the same common name for the same thing is it's undetermined. I believe we did this on the show.
It's not
So
hard.
we
Look up
don't
the PP sheets, people. But David, just remember, I have no scientific experience. I just weighed hazardous chemicals that could explode a whole room and murder a whole building of people. I have no experience though, David. I'm not a scientist. I wasn't a chemist at all at a professional level. Just didn't because I didn't have a degree.
Wait for the facts. Wait for the facts. Who's giving us the facts? Doesn't that matter?
Ben Shapiro, of course, David. That's why
Come on,
we
Ben
have to
Shapiro,
wait.
wait for the facts. Where are you getting your facts from, Ben Shapiro? New York Times?
Well, of course, I am. I'm on the ground, David, in Hamas
Doesn't that
infiltrated
matter?
Israel.
Mad about that. That's so dumb. And this is supposed to be
It's
an
worse than Veep.
authoritative- This is an authoritative news source. Like it's the New York Times, and they just made the point for RFK while saying he was wrong. Can't we just
No.
agree? Can't we just agree our food's poison? Is that a problem?
Well, everybody knows it.
Are we seriously going to pretend that our food's good here?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if all these zero sugar drinks fucking start seeing that shit in 10 years.
All these people are running around saying that it's so expensive to eat healthy here. What does that imply? Doesn't that imply that if you don't spend the money, you get garbage food?
Well, David, do you know why healthy food is expensive?
Why is that right?
Well, this is just what I've been told, David. We can clearly ask Gronk.
Well, I'll wait for the facts, but you can tell me now.
Well, it's because unhealthy food is subsidized by the government, David.
Hmm.
You know, you ever hear about how farmers get paid to dump out milk and burn all their extra wheat every year?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Which I mean, maybe it's conspiracy, David. I don't know. I was just wrong. Dave was just wrong about his senses about the red wave. Got better, just so you guys know, you guys got better political breakdown and analyst over the last 4 years of an election cycle than you did at a multi-million-dollar organization.
I've seen people trying to downplay the size of this victory over the election cycle.
I don't know how many.
You-
I don't know how you can downplay it.
Well, it's not. You're really going to say that that the victory was that large? I mean, he only won by a couple million votes, and I'm like, okay, so let's just talk about moving goalposts here. Everyone was complaining because the only time Trump won, he lost the popular vote, right? So Trump wins electorally. He wins the popular vote. They keep and both retain and win the Senate and the House. They have, remember, the Supreme Court's not political, but if you were to look, it's pretty obvious. There's some justices who care about the Constitution, some who don't. So you could call that right and left. So they have the Supreme Court. So they have literally everything.
Yeah,
And
not
we're
popular.
saying, well, he only won by a couple million votes, so it's not that big of a deal. It's like they threw everybody fucking out. I don't think we can understand. Well, it's how you could hardly call it a mandate. He only won by 3 million votes or 2 million votes, and they're still counting votes in California. Which joke? It's a mandate. That is a mandate to the highest degree. They took everything you said and said, "Fuck you, we're done."
They spent $1 billion and still lost.
They could have not, and trust me, I've watched them try for years. They could have not wasted $1 billion any worse than how they just wasted that $1 billion. It's a mandate. It's a mandate. Get out. Get out. We don't care about your thing. You're all saying you're going to leave, then fucking great.
Yeah. And they got to
Oh, yeah.
gaslight you. They got to gaslight everybody before Inauguration Day to make you think that this isn't historic.
Ryan, I've said specifically on the show that athletes, no matter what they say publicly, are definitely at least lean right wing. And
I
I've
don't
said
know
that
what
because
make you think that, David.
because
Clearly,
you can't get to that point in your life without following conservative values. You just can't do it. You have to be a guy who's dedicated and hardworking and whatever. You can't be like some lazy left wing pot smoking. Like, you just can't. You have to be an extremely focused and dedicated guy. And if you were to pick from a group of people, and you had some people who were very that sort of way, where they were cared about their health and they were working out and they were focused and they focused on a team and achieved goals and set goals and achieved goals. If you focused on those kinds of things, you would say, like, almost 100% of the time that guy's going to be a right wing kind of guy. So I've been saying for years that these athletes are, no matter what they say, they largely will lean Republican, even if publicly they kind of either are absent or they pretend like they're whatever. I have to show this, and there's more that came out too this Sunday today, Ryan, during football, where people were doing Trump dances, and I have to play this because this is just tremendous. Here's John Jones, one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, kicking ass and doing a Trump dance. It's the greatest thing you'll ever see. Watch this.
good knockout, by the way.
Big kick to the body by John.
While Joe Rogan calls it, God bless America. MMA is so vicious. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're just all okay with just that guy lining up on another man. There it is.
He did the Trump dance. He did the Trump. Come on.
I love it.
And then
love
he
it
ended
so
up
much.
giving him the belt after or something, didn't he?
I love it. John Jones is just an absolute monster. And Rogan calling it live. UFC is just a whole nother. It's next level. It really is.
Well, if you're waiting for the facts, David, you can wait. But I would say that I know it's here now, but it's ahead of its time. I mean, they can say fuck and fuck you, and Dana White gives these people an audience and a platform, and pulls people out of poverty, and just success unites us. And yeah, it's the fundamentals.
I think some of my, I don't know. Here's the thing. Some of my favorite. Have you ever heard Joe Rogan explain like how he even got to where he was with?
He did it for
calling
free.
the UFC?
Did it for
like
free
a long time.
Yeah, for years, like 6 years.
Because in his mind, he's like, "Fuck it, I love MMA and I'm front row."
Front row at like the greatest fights of all time with the
Yep.
greatest fighters of all time. I get to interview them and I get to watch for free, and I'm in fuck yeah.
He might do it for free now. Like, if they were to ask, like, he might just like, the guy just has a love for it. Like, wouldn't you do something like that? Wouldn't you do it for free, like, completely, if you just had a love for it? Like, if somebody was like, "Hey, why don't you here, ready? I'm gonna lay a scenario for you. Ready?" Tim Pool calls you up because he's like, "You know what, man? I can't. The graphics card.
I got
failed
another
again.
kid. I got another kid.
The graphics card failed again. I can't keep doing Timcast. I need it alive. Will you do it for free?" Ryan would be there like tomorrow doing the show.
Yeah, and I would
It's not a
shut
question. We're
Timcast
not-
down and segregate his audience over December 17th, 73.
It's no question.
David, to answer your question, we do this now for free.
Well, I am paid, Ryan. I'm hoarding the checks.
You better be investing them. I fucking swear to you.
It's gonna be great when in like 10 years from now, Ryan's just gonna get a random check in the mail. He's going, "What the fuck?"
You gotta do it on air, you know. Be like, Ryan, you're gonna get a check from me. You gotta open it on air though. We're open like, what the fuck? $30 million, dude. What the fuck have you been doing? Be like, yeah, dude, those investments.
God
You're on a
bless
yacht.
Rumble.
You know what'd be crazy, dude? Is if you keep that studio. So like you're on a yacht, but your studio still looks like you're here.
I gotta figure out.
Yeah, you just
I gotta figure out
fake
what
a
we're
studio.
doing. Ryan, I might employ you to help with the new studio because this is gonna be gone shortly. Sadly,
It's all right. We'll build it better. We can do whatever.
build back better. Ryan,
what were we talking about right before that? Oh yeah,
athlete-
doing something for free. Dave, I've done this for almost half a decade now, Dave. For free. So yeah, I would do something for free that I love. I rap for
Ryan,
free. Like,
we
fuck.
know, we already know this.
What, dude?
We know the police in the UK are coming for us, but did you know the police in the UK are coming for the British?
The British are coming.
Hundreds of British citizens, including journalists, are reporting that they've been visited by the police regarding X posts. Just visited. No fear. No fear, Ryan.
Well, why were they visited, David? I thought it was a private company, David. Clearly, I can post what I want on there. Elon said it was okay. It's a private company. Right? Right?
Here's
Right?
the thing. Here's
No?
the thing. When your country like ours has a, however you want to phrase it, but we have a right to free speech, right? And it is written that it's acknowledged that we have that right? It's not written to give us the right. It's written that they acknowledge our God-given right. The distinction matters, but I'm just to put it out there.
God's not real, bro.
The UK does not have that. In fact, most places don't have that. In fact, I'm pretty sure all places don't have that. I think we're the one. So when you have that, I'm sorry, if there's Canadian watching, you don't have a right to free speech. In the United States, we have a right to free speech, so the government has to do certain things like pretend private entities are the ones censoring your speech. However, in Europe, where you have no right to free speech, the police actively go to your door because of a social media post.
Clearly terrorists, David. Shut them down. Hang them. Hang them, David. They're treasonous. Clearly.
And how far can they go? I think that's a question worth that. Like, what can a policeman do who shows up to your house? If you,
I don't know.
If
Do
you-
I got to answer the door? What the fuck
sure.
do I do?
Well,
How do you
surely,
know I
Ryan,
even
you-
posted it, Dave?
Ryan, you don't even have free speech rights in this country. Do you have property rights?
Dave, I thought
you
they
own
weren't
your own?
spying on everybody. How do they know I posted something if they're not spying on me and recording all my phone calls and all my
Doesn't
data
matter.
and my content?
Of course
What
they
do you mean
can.
it doesn't matter, David?
Well,
What
it
do
doesn't
you mean
matter
it
because you're
doesn't?
in Britain. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Well,
You don't have rights. You don't have privacy rights. You don't have free speech rights. You don't have property rights.
but Dave, they have
Just-
property rights. They have the Magna Carta, David. They actually had rights before we had rights. What are you talking about, David?
Well, not
They
currently.
clearly,
Please-
David, we have the same rights as Britain, David. Clearly,
The police are going to
they have democracy. How's it not the
watch
same?
you
David?
online. They're going to see what you say. They're going to stop at your flat, and they're going to talk to you.
I heard Chris Williamson talk about this actually. The United Kingdom has the second most amount of millionaire exits in the entire world.
What is first? Is it California?
China.
Oh.
So that means when you get rich, you leave. Right.
Does
That's
China
what
have
I'm-
millionaires? It's a dumb
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
How do they have millionaires?
Well, they probably just print money like the United States, David. Clearly, they're ripping people off, David. That's the only way you can get wealthy.
Ryan, we need an update on our friend.
Look,
here.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. The police are lucky they're not doing that in America because they get fucking shot.
That
I'm
sounds
not
like a
ca-
violent threat, Ryan.
No,
Are
they're
you calling for
tyrants.
violence.
David, they're tyrants. It's not violence against tyrants. It's called defense of your countrymen and your home beliefs and the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Unjust laws is not laws. They can't come to your house about anything I fucking say on the internet. Expedite me. I don't care. Go ahead.
Ryan, I have to go to the experts here.
I'll fucking be
is-
the best
I
gay
can't-
guy
I
in
can't go to the
prison. I'll
experts.
fucking transgendered my way through that way. Fuck out of here. gladly cross-dress to go fuck that judge. Fuck him. Fuck him live, David. Fuck you, tyrants. Trump won. Fuck the Chiefs too.
Dude, I can't. How do people actively? I'm gonna pull this up. How do people actively use these pages? There's like ads fucking everywhere. They're trying to sell me a Range Rover. I don't want a Range Rover.
Clearly, that's how you sell all Range Rovers, David, is ads.
You can't even go on to New York Times and get the facts that you've been waiting for because you have to subscribe, and I'm not paying for their shit. Peanut the squirrel was marked for death and decapitation from the start as a rabies test result reveals a tragic twist. Not going to read the whole article, but apparently they said he had rabies, they killed it, and then he didn't have rabies. So regardless of what we have just said about the British police and British people, and I feel for British people, and I hope they do what we did and revolt. What's wrong with Range Rover? Do I have to get into a Range Rover debate? Are you British?
It's a
Real-
Ford with a
Hold on,
different badge.
Serious question. Are you British before we get into this? Because I know British people love Range
One's in the
Rovers.
chat if you're British.
For the life of me, can't figure out why. There's not technically
'Cause
anything.
David, obviously, because England doesn't have a lot of land in it, so Land Rover, like they wish.
No Brit. Okay. All right.
N-
So, first of all, congratulations on being safe from the police showing up to your door over social media posts.
It's clearly that's why he's on
Secondly-
this program, David.
Secondly, if you're not British, save yourself, I don't know, call it $50,000 and buy a Jeep anything. Here's my thing with Range Rovers. They are wildly expensive for in my opinion, the performance.
Dave, what do you know?
For the
What-
luxury.
What
for
do
the
you know, Dave?
performance,
What do you know about automobiles, David? What is your professional credentials on automobiles for you to even have an
Nothing.
opinion?
I don't know anything about cars. I have one Disco one. I have one Disco one. Discover, I'm assuming. Here, you know what? Since I got 600 used. Hold on, you bought it for $600? If you bought it for $600, any car is going to be a fine car for me.
In this economy?
$600 on a Range Rover in this economy? Hold on. Let's just I'm going to explain why I think Range Rovers are. Did we do this? We did this before with a Tesla before we built a Tesla on air.
Building Tesla on air was dope.
was-
Definitely was steep on price though. 130s were off, David.
Shout out to Cadillac. When you try to build a Range Rover online, or when you Google Range Rover, it comes up with an ad for a Cadillac. Oh, Genesis, Mazda, Toyota. They don't want you to own these. I can tell you that right now. Here we go.
Here's everything but Range Rover.
He bought it for $600. It was used, and he had to fix it. Well, you had to. Well, if it makes you feel better, if you bought one new,
You
somebody
have to fix
someone's
it.
gonna fix it regardless. So at least you
Dude.
got $600.
If you bought a new, oh, it comes with a girl, David. Clearly,
Is she also $600? Okay, so here's a Range Rover, and don't get me wrong, this one's not my favorite, but they're not horrible looking cars. But I want to build a Range Rover. Okay,
starting at 107, David.
okay. There's problem one with a Range Rover, but you have a Discover. Do they still make Discovers? Defenders, Discover. Yeah. Okay. Discovery
Starting-
Sport.
Dude, starting at 107 is fucking crazy.
All right, we're into a Discovery now.
Starting, what's the fucking fully loaded? The base model's 107. What is fucking wrong with you?
Well, do you just want to do one of these then?
Just
Here, we'll build one of these.
starting at 107. You're out of your goddamn mind. What's the payment on a $107,000 vehicle, David?
Oh, did I click the wrong? I want to build my own. I always find these slightly clunky, even though they're very easy to do. Okay, hold on.
Starting at 107, 400, 900.
All
Plug-in hybrid. What's the gas one run me, David? We'll just go gas. I don't have.
Oh, is that? Is it both?
Okay. So, all right.
Ooh, a long wheelbase.
What the fuck's that mean?
Yeah, well, it's a longer wheelbase. That's when you measure from the center
Seven
hubcap
seat,
to the other
seven.
center hubcap, right?
I know what. Thanks, Dave. Fucking asshole.
Okay, so
It's
here
a
we go.
7-seater.
Yeah. Well, we want the long wheelbase. I'm not fucking around here. I don't know what you think this is. I got crypto money to burn.
Razor
SV
S230.
supercharged. I gotta have some power here. I need some.
Uh,
Is that the only thing I can?
gas mild hybrid.
Are you serious? Okay, fine. What else are we doing with this? Colors. Oh wow, hardly can call these colors.
Go silver.
Okay, silver. Green's not bad.
No, the other silver.
This one.
No, the other one.
This one. Great. So when I crash it, it's going to be the hardest thing on earth to match. What does this do? Oh, those are more colors. Oh, premium. Oh, okay, hold on. No, they do have colors.
we have to go blue. Go blue.
Blue, like this
Blue.
bright, obnoxious blue. Oh yeah. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Oh, what do we
Velocity
satin
blue.
finish? I don't know, dude. Satin finish. Hit the blue satin finish.
Oh yeah, that's kind of nice.
Fucking chalked out. Roof color, panoramic, body. No, yeah, definitely bottle color. No body color. Oh yeah.
Okay, body color. Yeah. SV accents that comes free with the SV pack. Serenity accents. What's those look like? Oh, they're like bronzy. Not too bad. What's this one? Ooh, black. Those are sick. Okay. Deployable side steps. Okay, sure.
Ejecto
yeah.
stepo. Yeah, got it.
Yeah,
The girl.
Gotta get into this thing. How am I supposed to get into my very cheap car?
My very cheap
22s,
only
23s.
23s.
Oh, red brake calipers all day.
Yo, you gotta do. No, not black. You gotta go the powder. What? No, the ones to the right of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Ooh.
Interior wise.
Ooh.
Oh wait. What? No,
Ooh.
don't do that. I don't want to remove
No.
anything.
No, I like the white guts in it, dude.
Oh, see, everything I do removes the SV pack. Okay, we're not fucking with that. I'm not removing my SV pack. Finishers. Okay. Oh, look at this. This is kind of cool.
Oh, it's only 20K.
Leather club table. What is that going to do though? Removes my ebony leather headlining. Yeah, I'm fine
That's
with
fine. Yeah,
fine with that. That's dope.
Okay.
Let's see this.
All right. All
Yeah,
right.
that's kind of nice. Okay.
All right.
Just what is the difference? Oh, leather veneer. Okay, that's fine. Cold climate pack. Yeah, we live in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Need towing. Yeah, I gotta
Towing
tow my
package.
cows.
Gotta tow the cows. The crickets.
I have to, otherwise
Emergency pack.
Bill
What if you
Gates.
get it?
Yeah, if I don't tow the cows, Bill Gates is going to come stick needles in them.
Mhm.
Convenience pack. I love convenience. Yeah.
So
What
good.
else?
$300.
Interior protection. Yeah,
Oh.
I probably should. It's a nice
Uh.
interior I've built. Exterior protection. Yeah, the exterior should be protected as well.
Yeah. From the rain, David, we're gonna protect the exterior.
I have to add infotainment. It should be there, I would imagine. Okay, long quote. Okay, so here's our build sheet. It's not too bad. $279,095.
Let's hit the finance, Dave.
Yeah.
It's very.
Ooh,
you want to lease it? You want to lease this, or what are we doing?
Yeah, let's do a 15,000 mile lease. 36
months. That's cool.
They want my
lease.
They want my zip. I'm not. Can I just not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Schenectady is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No shit. Okay, yeah, that's definitely where I live. Is Schenectady.
Yeah. 0 down. What do we got?
5,600. Just for easy math, $5,700. So to answer your question about what do I have against Range Rover, they are the most outrageously expensive things on planet Earth. They're fine, whatever. They're not like bad looking cars or anything. Honestly, I kind of like the older Range, like supercharged sports or whatever they were. Those were kind of cool, but I don't know. Save yourself $200,000 and buy a Jeep Buy a Wagoneer or something. I don't know. That's obnoxious. I don't remember where we were. Ooh, Peanut the squirrel. Yes, Peanut the squirrel. So they took Peanut. They assassinated our poor boy, and he didn't even have rabies, Ryan. He didn't have rabies. And here's the thing: as mad as I should be, this is where I was going with this the whole time. But then somebody brought up Range Rovers. It's fine. As mad as I should be
Speaking of squirrel.
about British police going to British citizens' houses over social media posts, I'm more angered that in America they sent agents, multiple, to somebody's house to kidnap a squirrel to kill it. If you wonder why I'm not humble in victory and why I'm not gracious in victory, it's because of this. It's because of this kind of thing. At some point, all of us, and I hope Peanut the Squirrel is the rallying cry, because if it's in the history books, God damn it, that's going to be glorious. There needs to be a rallying cry.
I don't know, dude. Harambe lived on for a long time, so
something that really pushes people to the limits, and people finally say enough is enough. And if it's not January 6th, people being hunted like dogs and imprisoned forever for trespassing at worst, then it has to be Peanut the Squirrel.
They weren't trespassing. They were just doing their ancient ceremonial grandfather dance of revolution. That's all. Just like the people in New Zealand were.
What'd you have to fix on your Discovery, just out of curiosity? Something basic, or was it bad? For $600, if you got a Discovery for $600, whatever you fixed must have been major, I'm assuming. Feel free to chat back. We're going to keep this going throughout the show. I'm curious about Land Rovers now.
Here's Dave's hidden talent: fixing people's Range Rovers over the internet comment loop.
I am not diagnosing your land. Take it to a Range Rover dealer. Good luck finding one.
I was just gonna say they don't exist where I live, David, because they're not.
I think there's one by you. There's not any remotely near me. I think there's.
I heard there's a Mini Cooper dealership.
Yeah,
somebody I
you're
knew
probably
lived in
20
Maine.
minutes. 50. No, you're 15 minutes from one, I would guess.
Oh yeah, we got everything. We have a Ferrari dealership in Williamsville now.
For real?
Yeah,
I know there's an Alpha dealer. You got a Ferrari dealer?
Yeah.
Yes, major. Yeah, I kind of assumed. Yeah, you're not buying a Discovery for $600 just because it needs front brakes.
Well, I mean, might be fucking diamond plated calipers, David.
Could be carbon ceramic, like $6,000. Who knows? Doge, Ryan, Doge. And I'm not talking Doge cryptocurrency to the moon, although I'm hoping for it. Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, Ryan, and we could start talking about some of Trump's cabinet picks. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is the thing everyone was hopeful for. Now, during the first Trump presidency, there were some missteps, miscues. Trump went on Rogan, explained, listen, you're just doing so. You could call them excuses, whatever. I don't even buy some of them, but the idea that you got to get in office and immediately appoint 2,000 people, you're never going to get all of them right. It's just not going to happen. So hopefully now he's better prepared. And with that said, he is building a super team, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, around him that has intrigued me, to say the least. Part of which is appointing Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to take up government efficiency in its own department. Now, whether this is an official department or a joke, I don't know. But I am very intrigued. Elon has come up with the idea. Wouldn't it be real though? I don't know. I really don't.
Space Force
I really don't know.
Real.
And it's gonna get. I think it gets messy too. Like, I don't know how this entirely works. Like, it's not an official thing. He made Space Force. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? He made a space military branch. I guess. Who am I to think this would not be real?
We're going to make Doge. It's going to be the greatest Doge of all Doges. How crazy is it that we're openly trolling people now?
I think it's great.
It's like we're just dunking on the world right now.
Well, that's what we need to do at this point. That's what
I mean,
needs
I'm
to
really,
be done. We're the
really glad my golden hair is coming in, David, for this fucking election cycle because it's just gold. It's here to stay, baby. The Greco-Roman one. It's just the way it is.
I like all the people he's bringing. Yeah, me too. Me too. So here's
Tulsi
the thing that's
Gabbard.
interesting.
Tulsi
Tulsi Gabbard's
amazing.
she's great. And because she's great, she's being framed as a Russian asset by the left, which is hilarious because she was in the Democratic Party for how long? And now all of a sudden she's a Russian asset. Shocker. Yeah, she's awesome. Elon's awesome. Vivek Ramaswamy is top tier. I almost prefer
How's
him
the
to
Matt
Trump
Gates thing?
in many ways.
Matt Gates is he a pedophile or what do we like? I don't even.
So here,
Didn't he
this
fuck a
is-
17-year-old or something?
is this not the oldest playbook on planet Earth?
What
Like, this is
fucking
what the-
17-year-olds, David?
No.
Because yes,
What the left has been trying to do to people.
fuck 17-year-olds.
Accuse
kidding.
people of
I'm
fucking
kidding.
17 years.
I'm
Listen,
kidding.
We've
Okay,
all
Jesus Christ.
seen. And he might. I don't know. I don't know. But if I were to guess, he didn't.
Is he married?
I believe so, yeah. But I know. Here's what I know. If you're going to attack him in that sort of way, I know two things. I know it's wrong, and I know he's going to be awesome at what he's in there to do. Because this is the old playbook. This is what they tried to do with the Tates, and I think they tried to do with Alex Jones, and they did it with Trump, and they're trying to do with. I don't want to hear it anymore. Show me the facts or shut up. I don't want to hear about your accusations. I don't want to hear about this person I know said. This one girl who went to a party. They tried to do it with Supreme Court justices, to the point that somebody showed up with a gun at the guy's house. I don't need to hear any of this. Unless you can prove it in law and the court of law, which, by the way, is a sliding scale at this point because they proved in the court of law that Alex Jones owed somebody $2 billion or $1.5 billion, whatever it was. So even that's getting to the point where I just don't fucking believe you people. I don't care. Honestly.
Yeah, fuck the judge.
I don't care. I'm getting to the point where I don't care if it goes to court and it's proven, because how often have we seen recently where the courts doesn't matter. They're bullshit. Everything's bullshit. It's all made up. It's all fake. It's all a game. It's all a show.
Whose line is it anyways?
But I gotta wait for the facts to come out. From who, Ben Shapiro? From who?
The people that you pay taxes to, David.
I vote for Vivek. Yeah, I liked Vivek. I prefer Vivek to Trump in many, many ways.
He might get the next nod, man.
He's got all the upside of Trump with none of the downside of Trump. It's like he is the perfect creation. Vivek Ramaswamy is outstanding.
He's got dark skin.
He's got dark skin. He's tall, dark. No,
hot wife.
He's perfect. He really is. We got Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy. We got Matt Gates. We got what am I missing? RFK Jr. is going to be just tremendous. All these people, of course, have not been officially.
Did you see the picture of RFK, Elon, Don Jr., and Don Trump eating fucking McDonald's on the plane, dude? And his face. So funny.
I'm getting excited now. I sent this to Ryan earlier. The only thing I'm worrying about, Republicans truly have a chance for the first time in my lifetime, and maybe in a long time. I'd have to literally sit down and study history books to look at the last time we had a chance in this country to
George
really
H.W.
fucking
Bush.
turn things around.
George H.W. Bush.
It's been a while.
80s.
And I can't say I'm completely optimistic, because I know there's elites in both parties, and I know a bulk of the Republican Party is not not Trumpian at all or close. So I'm not completely hopeful that this is going to get turned around, but it's in my opinion the best shot they're going to have maybe from now until forever. So these next few years, they cannot miss this, because if they do, I have no hope. I don't have hope going forward in any realm of the government getting it done the correct way.
No, it'd have to be January 6th at every Capitol building, all at once. And there'd have to be a constitutional convention and a constitutional crisis, David. This has been talked about by actual constitutional scholars when we have gone so far astray that the interests of the people are no longer represented at the highest levels, which is obviously obvious. I don't know. Here's the thing, back to your point, David. This is the time to reach across the aisle, actually. You know, because let's be honest, there's going to be people that voted for this side, right? The Trump wave, that aren't really Republican. They just voted because they thought they would get a better change in America and they'd have a better chance. Well, in that time, you might be able to not win hearts and minds, but that conversation of like, hey, man, like maybe like, you know, have you thought about it this way? Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe some of your Republican friends will be a little more lackadaisical now that they feel a little less threatened about just trying to live their life. They're just trying to keep more of their money. Like, stop demonizing them. That's really the only thing that makes them Republican. In my experience, David, I don't know about you. I don't want to speak for you. But most of the people that tend to lean Republican are just like, the government's too big and I want more of my money. They don't even get into the whole violating of rights, and that's only for like serious politics that you care about rights. It's normally like the people I meet want to be left alone. So my point is, like, this is the time that, like, if you think of something like, you know, Trump's talking about the Department of Education, great. If you think it should stay around, what areas of the Department of Education do you think should stay? Because let's be honest, we can't just get rid of it. There's going to be a vacuum. It has to be a transition into some other system, if that's hopefully the idea. And it would be a better system so that we get better results. Because let's be honest, we're not getting what we pay for.
But we're almost at a rare, unique advantage in the United States where we have 50 separate states where the vacuum has already been filled, and then we continued to fill it with more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I think the vacuum was one or the other, right? The vacuum was you pump it with government or you pump it with money in the private sector. And obviously what happens is you either get infinite corruption or infinite monopoly somewhere.
And I can sit down and think of a perfect world, and I'm sure Kevin would come on the show and talk about the perfect world of private schools, and that's fine. And I'm certainly for private schools, but I'm not even saying for private schools. I'm just saying get the federal government out of it and let states handle it.
Amen.
And if you were to eliminate the Department of Education, that doesn't mean schools are shutting down. Like, we need to get to a point in this country where we understand that each state handles its own business individually.
What do you mean, David? Like the 10th Amendment of the Constitution?
Exactly. And if the federal government goes away, the roads don't stop. The mail might stop because that's one of the actual things the federal government is supposed to do, but the roads don't stop. If the DOE goes away, that doesn't mean schools don't exist and all the teachers are fired. That just means it's handled at a state-by-state basis. And some states are going to handle it a little differently, and some states will have a little bit better, and some won't do as well. And guess what? That happens now. Even with federal standards, that's what happens now. Some schools are a little bit better in some areas than others. And it's not, by the way, what school gets the most money. In fact, a lot of inner city schools tend to get more funding, which you go look this up if you don't believe me. But I believe at one point I heard a stat that the city of Buffalo spent like some absurd number on schooling.
It's like 50.
Was it I heard like $1 billion on schools.
I don't know. I seen one statistic that they spend like 50 or 60 grand a kid, basically, and only 1 in 4 of them were graduating.
50 or 60 grand per kid.
Yeah.
What's a teacher's salary?
Which fine, honestly.
But we're throwing money at it.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Fine. If it takes 50, 60 grand great. But what's the graduation rate? 25%.
Yeah, I need ROI.
Yeah, money is not the problem. You have enough money. Fix the culture. Is it a family issue? Is it a society? Is there not jobs? Is he fucking a gangbanger? Like,
And there
was he
is that.
molested? Like, I don't know. Like something.
And there absolutely is that. I think you could save a lot of money on schools by fixing our culture.
That's weird. Why? And David, how do you get the culture? You got to talk to history, religion, and politics of it, though. I thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's weird.
And to some degree, I hope we're seeing that now. I wish I got 50, 60 per kid to stay home and teach my kids. Yeah,
Hey,
you ain't going to get that. I can promise you.
Maybe
They'll
that
give
is
50, 60
right
kids
there.
to the
Prime
state.
example. Prime example. If you homeschool your kids, will I get a $50,000 tax write off?
But talk about stigma, Ryan. Talk about stigma. What in culture? What do you hear about? Oh, homeschooled kids, they're weird. They're weird. They're not smart either. Well, you got to take that on a case by case basis, I suppose.
Grant Cardone says you should homeschool your kids and they should be around adults. And they said, and you know what he said that was incredible because this is actually real reminiscent to me. My daughter's mostly been around adults because we don't have a lot of kids in my family, just for various reasons. So she almost seems more advanced. She thinks she's older than she is, which is a product of many children. But it's
We have that
mostly,
going on in our house.
yeah, it's mostly because the kid only really knows adult interactions. Not that she's not socialized. She plays well with other kids, but you know what I mean, Dave. And I think some of that, it's just what happens, and like, what do you do against that? When we're talking about schooling. But Grant Cardone said the reason that their kids should be around adults is that adults hold all the answers. So why would you not put them with the people that have all the answers? And not that I agree, I am a huge Grant Cardone fan. I'm not condoning or whatever everything he says. It's just an interesting school of thought when we're down this very interesting, complex road of what education actually means. Because once again, like, some people have like invented whole schools of psychology and they weren't educated at all. Now, I know those are far and few in between, but I do think we do need general education for everybody. Don't get me wrong. We have to, like, this is how you filter water. This is how you plant seeds. Like, I agree with Kanye when he said that education is more important than water. If you don't know where to get water and how to clean water, what good is water? Pretty fucking self-explanatory.
Yeah, they said I'm just going through a couple of things real quick. Somebody reported, well, let me bring this up again. Wasn't in like a House report or something that she watched. I want to bring it up so it's right. I don't want to wait for the facts, right? And think about how this is phrased, okay? NBC News confirms, okay? Wait for the facts. NBC News, great source. This is a great source of information. You got to wait for the facts. These are the fact givers, Ryan. NBC News confirms that a woman told the House Ethics Committee earlier this year that she once saw Matt Gaetz have sex with a minor.
It didn't say anything?
Not at the time, no.
Just waited till his confirmation hearing.
Well, she had to wait for the facts, Ryan. How? There's so many questions. First of all, NBC phrased that it was phrased in a certain way for a reason. First of all, you want to sound authoritative. You want to make it sound like Matt Gaetz had sex with a minor by saying NBC News has confirmed. What did they confirm? Not that Matt Gaetz had sex with a minor. They confirmed that a woman told the House
Said
Ethics
she
Committee.
saw somebody.
Said she saw it. That's what they confirmed. They confirmed nothing, really. I mean, that's out in the open. That doesn't need to be confirmed. How did this woman, first of all, let's assume, okay, she saw him having sex. I don't know, was she watching? Like, she pull up a chair next to Destiny in the corner and fucking just take notes? Like, what was she watching? So she saw him have sex with a minor. How did she know she was a minor? She's like, ID her before she went in the room? Like,
Well, maybe she
what
was
are
a
we
human
talking about?
trafficker,
These
David.
stories don't make any sense. Was it during the Kavanaugh hearings? What was that fucking whore's name? Christy Ford or something like that.
Christy
This was-
Balissi Ford or something.
This was the woman who accused Kavanaugh of gang raping her, right? But then when you looked into the story, it fell apart completely. Like the dates and the times were all wrong. They changed a bunch of times, and it was at a
And did
place
you ever
that
hear-
didn't exist. It was like, hold on, your story doesn't hold water.
Did you ever hear about how Nancy Pelosi knew all this and still coached the girl along?
What a shock, Ryan. What a shock. But I'm supposed to believe now. You know, that was then. But now I'm supposed to believe now these people are right.
Clearly, David. They have
Well, I saw
credibility.
Matt Gates have sex with a minor, and what am I supposed to say to that? Oh, you saw him? Oh, well, then he's guilty. Like,
Dave,
are we serious?
Well, we're actually talking about reminded me of a conversation I had this past week with somebody. And he's seen me taking photographs of the newspaper stand, which is something I commonly do. Like I carry
Okay.
my phone, and if I see a screenshot, that's how I sent you those articles the other week. He's like, "You can't do that." I was like, "The fuck I can't."
What?
He's like, "People worked hard for that. People own that. Like that's intellectual property of the newspaper and all this stuff." And we were in a store, and he's a friend of mine, so he's being obnoxious with me, but it was a good intellectual exercise. And he was asking people in the store, he's like, "Do you think you should be able to take pictures of a newspaper?" And everybody was like, like whatever. And later come to find out that he actually worked at a newspaper and he wrote in a newspaper, and that's why he like had this emotional attachment to the theory of me just going up to a newspaper and taking pictures.
Here's my problem with his argument.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have now displayed these newspapers in a public store,
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of conceding a little bit that people can see them.
Yeah. Well, that's what I told him. I was like, dude, I can if I take a picture of you, like if I'm outside and I take a picture and you're in the foreground, you can't tell me that I can't take the picture because you're in public. I said the store doesn't have a picture or anything posted that says I can't record or post videos or post pictures inside the store. So I'm not violating a store policy. And then I also told him, I was like, if YouTube's going to censor me for interfering in foreign elections, I'm going to steal their fucking newspaper. Like, if you're saying I'm stealing, go ahead. But I also told him that the reason that I do this is because I used their information against them. Like the whole thing about me getting news articles isn't to take their news articles and take their headlines. No, these are what these people have said. I say this or I believe this. And a lot of time, like we just did about Peanut the Squirrel or the Matt Gaetz incident, is we pull it up as a reference point that these people literally lie to you through neuro-linguistic programming and Project Mockingbird. It's not like a debate, but it was a good intellectual exercise. We were able to like cheers and drink a cup of coffee afterwards, but it was cool to like actually hear his side of it. And I don't disagree with him in principle that I get that you put work into this, but I told him you can't own information. Like the idea that you think that you have privacy rights over a public news story about something in the community, I don't think you can own information. And then we just had a very good philosophical discussion, ethics about it. It's very interesting. So always, once again, people, I practice what I preach. Fucking get your shit tested. Get your beliefs tested. It's empowering.
Ryan,
Now, maybe you can't, David, because you work in a place that you'll get fired if you talk about it. But let's wait for the facts and only go to the experts, David.
Wait for the facts, Ryan.
When he said
honestly,
it's just Veep, that was one thing, but waiting for the facts is a completely another thing.
That's a goose. Goose, like from Top Gun, Goose 3310. Always look forward to the show weekly. Thanks, Goose.
Goose, do
yeah.
I know you?
Goose. Do you know Goose? Are you a Canadian Goose? They're kind of dicks. They really are. They'll fucking run right after you. They don't care. They'll chase you down the road. American Goose, fine with me. Canadian Goose, get lost.
Old Squawk.
Ryan, you wanted to talk about AOC. I have what you're looking for, Ryan. I believe.
Clearly, David, it's that deep fake of her. Nope, wrong video. Sorry.
Ooh, we can probably. I think we can watch that. Hold on.
Well, it's
You wanna
probably
watch
still on the internet, David, because obviously you can get Taylor Swift porn taken down, but not of AOC. So
You know what, Ryan? I think we're going to pull that up. Let's pull up deepfake AOC. This is not for sensitive eyes, okay? If you got children watching, I'm pulling up AOC deepfakes right now.
I seen a
Okay.
picture of somebody taking her and putting blonde hair and blue eyes on her because she removed her pronouns.
I saw that. Actually, not a
Yeah.
bad look. Not a bad
Ugh.
look for her.
I'll tell you, dude. I told you, man. It's my time, baby. It's get ready for blonde hair, David. It's coming.
Other
I will
than
repopulate the blonde
other
hair in
than
this entire genome on the earth. David.
suffering from googly eyes. She's not bad. Here we go. This is Dave Rubin, Ryan. Are you sure you want to watch this? Dave Rubin, Michael Knowles, never get divorced, and some other guy. I don't even know who this
And
guy is.
Gadsad, he's like a meditator, intellectual, fucking
Okay.
spiritual guru guy. Very cool.
Okay, spiritual medical guru. Okay.
Yeah, look, not only I want to talk about AOC says, I'm actually more concerned and I want to discuss what Gadsad has to say. I believe I'm saying his name right, but that's what I want to discuss is what he's going to say.
Okay.
I actually got
perfect.
more out of that than AOC.
Well, that's
So-
not surprising. Let me roll the clip here.
I mean, I got a lot out for AOC.
Here's
David, just
AOC
not
doing
like-
a little, I don't know if this was TikTok or Instagram, but she's very interested in finding out which Trump podcasts people are listening to.
Which podcasts are you listening to? Which accounts are you subscribing to?
Go blow up her post and tell her the weekly show.
I'm interested, like genuinely. Let me know which ones specifically, which accounts, which podcasts, etc.
Now, again, I don't think there's anything genuine about her. However, is this all because she wants to
By
still
the
put
way,
us
I
on a
slightly
list to
disagree
hopefully
with
get us
that. I
in the
think she's one of
gulag?
the few.
Or is it possible that
people in
there's a
politics that actually
flicker
believes what
of
she says.
something in her brain going, oh, maybe I
yeah, I
did
just don't think she
misjudge
knows
what's
what she's
going on
talking
here.
about.
No, I think it's the latter. I think people are starting to realize that, the powerful mediums now are Joe Rogan and et al. Right? I mean, I have a personal story from academia that I can share that mimics that reality. So in 2017, I had gone to Stanford Business School to give a talk, and the host, who was a consumer psychologist who was hosting me the dinner the night before, very smugly said that at Stanford, we don't do research so that we can appear on Joe Rogan. I said, well, I don't do my research also to appear on Joe Rogan, but if I can publish in top journals and appear on Joe Rogan where he's got 15, 20 million viewers, then I'm certainly doing something well. Well, guess what? Many of the people who told me don't go on shows like Joe Rogan et al., now they all write to me and say, hey, is there a way that you can get us on Joe Rogan? So it's exactly what she's
fucking
realizing.
advertising.
Academia is also realizing.
Okay, in case you can't tell, that's the Rubin report. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, telling your subscribers to subscribe is gross too. We all know what to fucking do on YouTube. I don't have to follow or hit the link in the description. I know where to go. I know to hit the notification bell. YouTube algorithm censoring us, so hit the notification. Shut the fuck up. Everybody knows what to fucking do. Okay? I've been around since every cell phone ever, David. God. Just tired of fake bullshit. Now, look, I'm not the biggest Dave Rubin fan because let's be honest, him and the whole Daily Wire kind of vibe that they got going on with Michael Knowles there, they're basically like the fucking Chino version of podcasts. In my opinion, like this is more real podcasting than what these highly produced people are doing. Now, I love Chris Williamson and other things and highly produced podcasts. Don't get me wrong. But as far as this news, I understand you want to look professional and sharp and like you got all the bells and whistles but what did we see won the election, David? It was the average man. It was not the fucking prim elites that won the election. So not that we shoot this way just for that group of people. Once again, this is just like Dave and I have our lane, but it's the right lane. Literally, I've been telling you guys that. We've been telling you guys that. But to round out, Dave, let's start with the AOC thing. What do you think? Do you think she's being sincere? Or?
Yeah, I actually completely disagree with what Dave Rubin said. I don't think AOC is not genuine. Actually, I think she's one of the few people in politics who is genuine.
Dude,
Now,
you
that
got
doesn't mean I don't completely disagree with just about everything she says.
Well, Dave, is it just because she lives in New York City? Is from New York City? Only knows people from New York City.
She was literally a college girl who uh, was in New York City. She was a college girl, then she was a bartender in New York City. Like, her whole life was being left. She had no chance.
Yeah, I wonder if some of this is, I don't know if she's married or dating or the people they date but
No, I
I
doubt
made
anybody couldn't tolerate her for that long.
I made
She's
the
probably
j-
fucking.
I made the joke to you, Dave, that like she wants like a manly man. It's not that, but look, I'm gonna tell you something. I met plenty of people that will fall on their beliefs that have been left leaning people. But when I'm talking about when you really want something done, all of those people that I've ever met were fucking fuck the government type people. Truly. They weren't like, oh, I'm gonna wait for the cops to come. Those aren't normally the people that you go to when you really need to get through things. And I think women are yearning and learning and earning and all these things for that because there's such a vacuum in a lot of things in our society. But yeah, I think Dave, these people that grow up in the it's like an echo chamber. I don't blame them. I just don't think they know. I don't think that they have been contested. I don't think their beliefs have been challenged because nobody they know can even challenge their beliefs because anybody in a city like New York that has 8 million people, imagine one Republican for every 1 million. How are you going to find a tribe to even communicate, to get the information, to have a different point of view, to fight back, to push and expand that over your whole life? Like, no wonder you're just going to be going with the flow. But with that being said, I would like to think that the people we elect aren't dumb in general and that they actually looked at the election as a referendum, like you said, like get the fuck out. And that actually some of them are looking like AOC. I would like to think that she actually is being sincere. Like, why did you? Because I think she says this because she knows how the regular operations of the politics happens. Obviously, she's in politics, but she's seen what Kamala Harris did and she's seen what Donald Trump did. And obviously, look at the map. So what worked, what didn't work? One spent $1 billion and was on NBC and it didn't work. And one spent a sixth of that and it worked the greatest ever. So something's here. You can't cheat that. When people are like, is it rigged? No, you can't. Just like the Bills' victory over the Chiefs today, it was too big to rig. There was no, even though you held Von Miller 4 times in that last drive, you fucks. I seen you put your hands to Von Miller's fucking face. Okay. I seen you do it. Okay. I don't know the defenseman. And you had him wrapped around the neck and you got that face mask. Fuck you. It was the Bills, Josh Allen's 4th and 2 was too good to rig. Fuck you and fuck the refs. I seen it. I watched it happen. Tell me it didn't happen. Fuck out of here. I can't wait to watch them squish them in fucking January. Anyways, this shit was too big to rig. Like literally, you couldn't manufacture enough votes out of NBC if you shit it out the back of the building. And AOC may be one of the very few bright people in our entire party that looked at that as a phenomenon and said, I'm going to be up for election soon. Maybe I should run the podcast circuit. Joe Rogan did say he would have on Kamala Harris. Bernie Sanders was on Theo Von. Aubrey Marcus would probably interview me. The Full Send podcast would probably, the reason why they always said that all these, the people that interviewed Bernie and all these other people, the reason they said, oh, they'll never come on is because they can't hang. They're not smart enough. So go prove them wrong. That's what we're all saying in the space, right?
Hold on. Can we make a separate point on this too?
Yeah.
It's, I think it matters. This is something tremendously different with people on the right than people on the left also. Podcasts on the right, or even center-right podcasts, will always welcome on a left-wing person with open arms. Any show on the right would have AOC on tomorrow. That's not normal across left-wing podcasts.
No, and we wouldn't be hostile. I wouldn't treat her like an adversarial person. Because at the end of the day, like the idea of podcasting is get somebody in a space that they're normally not. Like the idea of like inviting a politician on the show. We did Mike Tremont stuff, but that was to help with the campaign and all that. Yeah. But we actually, when you kind of talk to him, you kind of got more of his personality out of it. He talked about personal stories, like about being a police officer for 20 years, that you're not going to get in a 3-minute soundbite that he's running on Fox. He can't even think of that story in that time frame that he
Well,
has.
truthfully, his interview on our show was so much better than any 3-minute thing that Chase Oliver did on C-SPAN. It
Yeah,
was
we get
so much better.
we gave him more like an actual platform.
And for whatever reason, and let's be honest, Libertarian parties, they're not going to win anything. That's fine. But the bigger point is the head of that ticket, Chase Oliver, he almost refused to do like long form stuff. Like he did a couple here and there, but for a guy who needed recognition more than anybody, he didn't do shit. It was incredible. He went on C-SPAN a bunch of times, and I think he made like a CNN appearance or something. But like holy shit, he didn't want to do anything. Like you're telling me like Rogan wouldn't have had him on? You know what I mean? He had Larry Sharp on, who ran as a libertarian for New York State governor. Like he wouldn't have on a presidential nominee. I bet he would have had any of them on. Jill Stein, Chase Oliver. He would have had any of them on. And the only one who went on was Trump. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if there were offers from Joe Rogan for Jill Stein and for Kamala Harris and for Chase Oliver. And I wouldn't be shocked if none of them went on except Trump.
And somebody in their campaign said, don't go on because it's going to be viewed as whatever. But all these people were waiting for the facts that you're not going to have because the people that consume the content. Look, podcasting has replaced the news. Most people are getting their shit from Rogan from a secondhand source. Very few people are listening to all 3 hours, David. I know you know that, but we're one of the few people that will listen to 3-hour podcasts, break it down, and then talk about it like the way we do. Most people are getting the news from the podcast, from other podcasts, or from shorts on YouTube. So you guys don't even see the whole thing. My point in saying all that is the people telling these politicians to not do the thing are looking at old metrics for measuring the future outcome of this country. And the problem is everybody is getting it from us. And they don't want to admit it, because if they do admit it, they would admit that they're not relevant. It would just,
well,
CNN isn't gonna pull the Wizard of Oz out from behind the curtain and say, see, he's just the man that was on a TV.
Well,
Like,
it's
they're
so
not
awesome
gonna do
because
that.
that's exactly what happened in this election cycle. If you truly break down how this election was won, it's because I think I shared this on my X at some point, but some of the biggest sources where people get their news: TikTok, Rumble, and X. But before this election cycle, where were people getting their news? Twitter, when it was Twitter and it was very much censored. Our very big point of contention of the 2020 election. In fact, throw all of the evidence of election theft. You can throw it all in the garbage. The only thing that matters is that Twitter actively, and other social media companies actively censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, and that was proven to be enough to change the election. That's the only thing that matters. So in this election cycle, what changed? Rumble and X. Elon Musk and Chris, I think it's Pavlovsky from Rumble, Pavlovsky. Rumble and X saved this country. Oh, go build your own. Build your own Twitter. Build your own Facebook. Build your own YouTube. Guess what? We did. We won.
And it's better. People like it more.
Why am I not gracious in victory? That's why. We had to build our own platforms, build our own servers, build everything from the fucking ground up. Parler was shut down through the App Store, through the servers.
Look,
they would shut it down at all costs.
Dave, to go further,
Build
if
your own
Kamala
Facebook.
Harris spent $1 billion, Elon had to spend how much of his money? 30 times that to buy Twitter?
Yeah,
What was it like?
honestly, you know what, Ryan? Great point. Great point, Ryan. The $1 billion there's nothing to be ashamed of. You spent $1 billion and lost. You know why? Because we spent 40+ billion and won.
Get fucked.
You didn't spend enough. Go throw money at it like you do the schools. You know how that works out for you.
You guys didn't spend enough. It's a shame.
I should have spent. Should have got 50 billion. Sorry. Tell Soros to stop buying DAs and start buying elections.
I can't wait for that, dude.
Fuck these people.
Fuck these people. Trump won.
That's why I'm not going to be gracious. I know what you're saying. Reach across the aisle, and you're not wrong. And if I'm a senator for fucking Kentucky or some bullshit, sure, I'll pretend to.
Was that a Rand Paul jab there, David?
I'm a podcaster, Ryan, and I'm going to tell these people to get fucked because that's what I want to do.
Well, I will be.
I don't know
there
why I picked Kentucky.
every
It's
single time.
Never lived in Kentucky in my life. It was the first state that came to mind.
I will tell these people to get fucked gladly. I can't wait till I go to get arrested in a place I can represent myself as a lawyer. Oh God, there is no jury of my peers. Is it me? Is it on me now?
Yeah.
AOC flipping out. It was a good time. Oh, I want to talk about what Gad Saad said. I have a family member who's a teacher.
Hmm.
And when I heard about Trump dismantling the Department of Education, I sent him a text. And I almost thought that we could have him on the program. So I was trying to like arrange that as like a local teacher's opinion, you know what I mean? To like kind of break some of the stigma of like, what does this actually mean when this happens? Right? Because I don't the opposite. He actually texted me that he doesn't talk politics anymore because he can't talk about it without getting upset.
Oh, don't yell.
I found it funny because I got to hear every day for 6 years how Trump was a rapist, pedophile, this and that. And for 6 years, I was like, yeah, all right. All right. I don't think that's true. I'll wait for the facts. And now, a highly educated man, this is not a knock to him. I don't blame him. This is the problem. So I'm trying to, I'm not here to teach, but I guess that's what we're trying to say. You have to have your shit challenged or you will become so brittle. You will be anti-fragile if you just stay in
steel, Ryan. Steel is hardened
by other steel, right? Iron sharpens
iron.
Plato's cave. It's a Plato's cave analogy. If you just stay in the cave and never get out and see that it's actually the sun, not the gods playing with you, you will always think it's the gods playing with you and not the sun moving and setting. And I'm not saying that I need to be the one because they're my family. I don't even care about that. The idea, I just thought after that, and I let him go because I respect him, respect them. That's like, you have every right to think that. I just thought it would be an actual cool, informational, educational, like I'm coming to you as a teacher to be like, yo, dude, what's this actually mean? And he's like, oh, I don't talk about this. It's upsetting to me. That's a little fucked up to me.
Okay, but
like in theory, teachers are basically like the pinnacle of the average person when you think about it. Intellectual teachers, like high school teachers and middle school teachers, they're the pinnacle of average intellectual people. And what I mean by that is they are the smartest average people that we have on average, right? Because they all have master's degrees, but they all are still middle class. You know what I mean? But they're all educated. And those highly educated people, you go to them for help, right? That's the whole point of you being educated. And if you're so educated, you should be able to handle a political discussion with your family member without getting emotional. But then I'm remembered about the neuro-linguistic programming, David. I'm remembered about pensions. I'm remembered about all the things that you were told in school and all the books you read, but you didn't read a book of the opposite thing that would contradict the thing that you just read so that you only think the one thing. Yeah, I forgot about all that. I don't blame them, but it's a problem. And this is exactly what Gad Saad was saying.
Yeah, this is partially the difference between people on the right and the left. Like we get our news from CNN and New York Times and whatever. Like how often do we share articles from those sources? But like people on the left also get their news from CNN and New York Times and the rest of them, CBS, ABC, NBC, whatever. But how often do you see a left winger share like a Breitbart article? You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't happen. Like they're just not formed in the same way that we're formed. And that makes them completely inept and unready to even have debates.
This is exactly what Peterson has said. Jordan Peterson has said. He says, some of my most favorite I'm paraphrasing, but he says some of my most interesting favorite people to talk to are people that like aren't from academia. And it's because, especially in their 20s and 30s when most of your brain is wiring, right? When you're in academia, you're kind of put in a box and it's structured and you wake up at this time and you do this. But when you kind of do your own thing and you like still figure it out, you just you trust your abilities and you start a business or you work, and invest in a pension or have a union, whatever it is. And you go through it. Pearson said he always found those people more interesting because they had to find out their own way. And it's a shame that like the people that are super educated could learn from somebody that's not. It's Chris Williamson. I just heard him say that there's two type of people. There's type A problems and type B problems. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like the educated people need to learn from the not educated people about how to think uneducated. You know what I mean? But us uneducated people should probably know some of the shit the educated people know. It would help you. Like the structure and the discipline and investing and all the shit that.
Well, how Ryan?
and-
How would
and
that ever
healthcare.
happen? How would that
Well-
ever happen other than people talking to each other?
Well, they can't talk, David. They get upset.
Hmm.
How are you going to have a hard talk with your wife or your kid if you can't talk politics with a family member? Because what's harder, David?
Does he just not talk politics, period, or does he think we're gonna like berate him?
I don't know. I didn't even invite him on the show. I just led hey man, I got what does that mean? He's like, I don't talk politics. It gets me upset.
Well, good. You're a teacher. I hope you're not talking politics to kids. Don't
Just-
want you to get
it's-
upset.
It's just fucking weird, dude. It's just what are we really raising in these institutions? Because what you're gonna look. Because here's the thing that always happened, Dave. You come from similar cloth. That's and it's not even like skilled trades. It's the real world. People are a lot less forgiving than school. And I'm not going to wear kid gloves around 20-year-olds for the rest of my life because they're being told in school that that's the way the real world is. That's not the way the world is, even though it's way more compassionate than it's ever been. And that may be for the benefit. I actually, not to get in this conversation because this is a podcast and so on, I think the reason we're seeing so many feminine men, David, as well as like collectively and consciously, all of that trauma from all of these world wars that our grandparents and everybody fought in, men finally sit with all of that collective trauma, and we don't know how to. Some guys don't have outlets. They don't have a good family structure. They don't get lucky. They don't jerk off. They jerk off wrong. Whatever the fuck, it's all of it. But and I just think men get caught in their feelings, and it's not a bad thing. It's just it's like a process we all have to work through, and then it's also the opposite thing. I ran from my feelings for a long time. Now I have to reintegrate them, which is painful. It's just as hard as being super emotional and trying to figure out your fucking life as you're so super emotional. I don't have that problem, but I know I'm talking in a circle. But yeah, the Gad Saad thing, I just thought what he described actually literally hit close to home to me in my personal life. And I said this last week on the podcast, that when you think that, the people that voted for Biden, Kamala Harris and that ideology, you guys thought you really were the majority, and you're not. And I think you're finally realizing it. And I don't think you like it.
You
I
think
think
they drank their own Kool-Aid?
Yeah, and they know they were wrong.
So this is like a super hard hit to the face because they.
Dude, it's like a vampire getting thrown out at high
sure
noon. It's high
there was
noon to a
probably-
vampire.
There was probably some degree of this, but not everybody on the left for sure.
Willful ignorance, David.
Well, but I think to some degree, there was some level of people on the left who knew the whole time. They had the internal polls. They knew the whole time. Kamala Harris was not liked. They knew it the whole time. But I think there was also another large chunk of people who are considered leftists on the left, whatever you want to call it, who truly believed that Trump and the MAGA and all these people were a small fringe minority. I think they truly believed it. And they got smacked in the face. And it's a complete, and I think this is AOC. It was a complete wake-up call. Like, holy shit, we're the minority. Like, what do I need to do? I think she's truly, maybe I'm giving AOC too much credit here, but I think this is truly looking in the mirror and thinking, like, what do I need to do to be better?
To be better and not get voted out. You think she wants to go back to waiting tables after she sat in a vestige of power? You think those 18 to 34-year-old men are just going to they're going to vote blue magically next time, David? You will never get in there again. I heard a thing 5, 6, 7 years ago that the next generation is going to be more conservative than our grandparents. because of how far you've pushed them, especially when it came to the transgender thing and not being able to say retard. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I really hope AOC is looking at that, maybe, but to further point, I hope they looked. You don't take 7 swing states and a popular vote unless you are the shit. Like,
That's not a mandate, Ryan. He only won by a couple million votes.
And all the swing states, David.
Well, yeah, but only a couple million votes. Land doesn't vote, Ryan.
He won the popular vote in the swing states.
Well,
though.
yeah, but Land doesn't vote. And he only won by a couple million popular votes, so not even that many.
Just a few million.
But Biden had 15 million more popular votes than Obama. So
Just 90% of all the voters in America
nothing to see here.
voted, and Trump won 75% of them. But nothing
Yeah.
to see here.
So I saw one that said somebody said something like, "Well, he didn't even get half the votes." All right, we're really stretching here.
People have civics died in this country. It's
We are
terrible.
really stretching here to
We're
try to
fucked.
downplay this.
Well, David-
and this
David,
is
what do
what
you
happens when they get
mean?
hit in the face. They
Dave,
don't know how
what
to
do you
react.
mean? What do you mean that the Fruit Loops in Canada are different?
Well, it's the same amount of ingredients, Ryan. Except one is blueberries and one
Dave,
is blue one dye.
This is perfect. Trump didn't win. We have the same amount of elected officials. Yeah, but most of them are red now. They're the same number.
Same number of officials. I don't. New York Times. Fucking New York Times. Oh, it's the same number of officials. It's, you didn't really lose the
They're
election.
just
Democrats.
mostly red. They're
all
mostly red
different
now. They're just
Like,
all
the ones
red.
that were Democrats are now Republicans. But like,
Just
you didn't.
70% of them are red. No worries.
Yeah, but it's the same amount of officials.
Same amount of people.
Fucking unbelievable. Oh yeah, same amount of ingredients. One's red 40 and one's carrots, but it's the same amount. It's still one ingredient. Jesus Christ.
If you guys didn't know that Malcolm X's family is suing the federal government, the CIA, and the FBI for
Good.
murdering him for like
Good.
$100 million.
Good. I hope they fucking win.
Yeah,
Fuck
me
these people.
too. Well, they got Martin Luther King Jr., if you guys don't know. Trump at UFC was cool. Women not having sex with your husband, go ahead. Go ahead. Because Dave, like Dave said, the attractive women get laid, and they're probably getting fucked by multiple men. So, Doge to the moon. I don't know what to say about it other than government efficiency is going to be great. I don't know what it actually means, so I do want to see actual things, like Dave said. I already talked about why I get passionate. So go read the fucking Nuremberg Code.
I don't want to talk politics, right?
Bills and Chiefs. Hey,
Not a
just
history
turn.
teacher, right?
Just turn on the oven and turn
It
your
sounds
back.
more like
Don't
a
worry
math or
about
a math or science teacher.
Math.
Okay, that makes sense. Please don't be a history teacher.
Bills
I don't
and
want you to be
Chiefs.
upset.
Bills and Chiefs. Fuck the Chiefs. Josh Allen 4th and 2. Dave, I texted you before it happened. I'm glad they did it.
You got it.
You
gotta
got
go there.
you gotta.
You have
You
to.
and you know what? Even if he failed, at least you gave Josh Allen a chance to beat his nemesis.
I
Because
am
he-
becoming increasingly more anti-punt or
just-
anti-field goal. Just fucking
Yeah,
go.
just go. Just
cut
go.
your kicker and cut your punter, and I don't
Yeah.
care if you're at your own 1 yard line and it's 4th and 99. You're going.
Here's the thing. I'm okay with Josh Allen being the kicker and he fake punts it and just throws it every time. That's what we should actually.
You got a fake punt with Josh Allen. No, nobody could see this coming.
No way. He's actually gonna kick it.
And
He's
then he actually punts it.
running. He's running. Hey, Dave. That's almost like when they let Damar Hamlin get a direct snap on 4th and 13.
I don't want to talk about that. That was against the Chiefs too, wasn't it? I don't want to talk about that. That made me sick. You know they were going for a storybook moment there. They nothing else. They didn't care about actually converting. They just knew if they converted, the news would never stop talking about it.
Imagine looking at your whole playbook. You're like, you know what? Fuck it. Direct snap to Damar Hamlin.
Dude, it was like 4th and 3 or something. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Just
Yeah, Josh Allen should be the punter and the kicker and just throw it.
I don't wanna talk about that.
Fuck the Chiefs, seriously. Trump's appointees, RFK, Tulsi, Elise Stenfick. Sorry if I'm butchering her name. Nancy's friend. Maybe we can get an interview with her. That would be very cool, and we can actually kind of walk through.
I would gladly talk to Stenfick or Stefnik or Nancy or any of them, honestly. I'd have lots of people on. Mike, you sure?
No blue states, just blue cities. No blue states, just blue cities. Get over it.
Dan doesn't vote, right?
Fuck Ben Shapiro. Fuck Ben Shapiro. Fuck Ben Shapiro. Mike Tyson Paul fight was boring. The squirrel, don't tread on me, has officially been swapped from a snake to a squirrel. I'm really loving the meme culture lately, David. ChatGPT. Did I tell you my stories about ChatGPT?
Maybe. I don't think so.
I got Apple Intelligence on my new cell phone, and you can
Yes.
plug in
Wait, is-
ChatGPT.
Look, this isn't the God emoji, right?
I tried that, it didn't work. I also tried Blessed, it didn't work. I tried putting my picture and putting Blessed, it didn't work. Apple did come out and say that they were going to not allow certain things, controversial phrases, to be used at all. And
Why does it upset them? They don't want to talk politics, right?
they don't want to talk politics, David, clearly. But hey, type anything in here. I bet you if I put the trans flag in, it will work. What was I talking about right before that? Oh, I have Apple Intelligence. So you can put ChatGPT as a plugin on it. And I was fucking around with it. I was coming home from work the other day in a work truck. And I asked ChatGPT to make me a song about coming home after a long day's work on a work truck. And my coworker and I, we got a pretty good laugh out of it. It made pretty good poetry. So I asked it to make me one about a commercial electrician, and it talked about being a lineman and stuff, and it was like a country song.
Did it just play Wichita Lineman?
Ah, dude, it was a good time. ChatGPT, I've had fun with it. I also sent a picture of a fake girlfriend to a girl to make her jealous. So you always gotta stand on your toes, boys. Stand on your toes.
It's just AOC with tits.
Yeah. Oh, I should ask ChatGPT to make me a blonde-haired, blue-eyed AOC. Yeah, I think it's actually setting in that liberals are realizing that we don't agree with them, and they're the minority and they're wrong. I talked about the newsstand and cousin story. Modern Wisdom, December 10th this week. Modern Wisdom, Matthew McConaughey, and there was also one about Socrates. Very interesting podcast. Matthew McConaughey one was very cool. Very cool. I highly recommend that one. Not just because he's Matthew
Hell.
McConaughey, but
I might have to watch that. He seems like a
he
Like
seemed
the
pretty
first-
genuine. He seemed, I mean, granted, it's an hour and 50 minutes, but I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and I'm not the best judge of character, but he seemed rather genuine for being a movie star. And he actually goes down that route. There's a point of his career that he falls off and what he did, and it was about reinventing yourself and how to have good and the things he's gone through. And it's just powerful. He thought about being governor and powerful. The one on Socrates was cool.
I'd be interested in that for sure.
Because it literally reminds me of what we do, David. So we're modern fucking philosophizers. I said it in high school. I got my dream. I am a philosophizer, and my boy Dave and I do it every week. It's amazing. Thank you, God. It's good. But I started hitting up the gym again, David. So I've been enjoying that. I've been following RP resistance periodization with Mike Izreki. Is it super funny? I've talked about him on the program before. RP Renaissance periodization on YouTube. But he's a super buff
Wow.
jack.
Good luck
super-
finding that.
Yeah, super buff jack doctor of sports physiology, and he's on steroids and a competitive bodybuilder. A lot of good information, and he's fucking hilarious. Yeah, just go check him out. But if you want really good workout videos, he actually gets super dorky. Prime example, I went and did back the other day. I did rows for lower back. I later found out that you should actually do upper back workouts and then do your lower back workouts. That
Actually,
way,
I have a friend of mine who has his own YouTube thing. If you guys want to check him out too, he's a good dude. I went to school with him.
yeah. This guy, he really, not that I don't really know, but the thing I'm really getting out of him is how to layer my workouts so that I can hit things earlier in my workout. So then when I go late I can target things later in the workout and get more benefit out of the stressing out the muscles I want earlier. But I only got that by listening through like 50 of his videos. Very interesting, very fun. Modern wisdom and Renaissance periodization. And yeah, he always makes jokes about selling you shit. I haven't bought none of his shit yet, but he's got an app I may actually try because I want to try to put on some weight and bodybuild a little more. But Dave, you want to plug your guys thing? And
I don't know what it is offhand.
all right.
To be
Well,
honest.
then I guess that's it. Dave Ryan, December 17th, 73. Catch us on Rumble and X for the greatest podcast in all of human history. As always, David, I appreciate you most for your time. And I'll see everybody later.
Thanks,
Go
everyone.
Bills. Thanks, Dave. Go Bills.
We'll be around. We'll be not next week. What Sunday? There's a week coming up. 2 weeks from now?
We taking off Christmas this year?
Probably. I don't know. Fuck it,
Are we going? We going to the inauguration too, right? I don't know. Text me. We'll figure it out.
we got to
We'll see.
figure all that out.
We'll see everybody later. Thank you.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bud. Go Bills. Trump won.